Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, hold on tight. You're in for one crazy, epically cool, and amazing ride tonight on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show. Hashtag one on YouTube. With me tonight, we have Christopher Holt. Welcome to the show, Mr. Christopher.
Thank you for having me. It's exciting. I've been watching your show for quite a while, so it's awesome to finally be on it.
Yes, not a problem. So, Christopher, let's talk about what you do in the sport of racing. What do you do in the sport of racing?
So I've been racing since I was, I've been around racing my whole life. Racing in my family goes back to several generations to my great uh, grandpa and my great uncle, my grandpa, my dad, my uncle, both my brothers. So racing kind of runs deep in our family. We're not famous by any means, but we've been around it a long time. My family individually has, we've taken a big part in Mason City Motor Speedway when the track is where it used to be where Sears is or was now, when the fairgrounds was elsewhere. So my family's been involved in racing in a certain capacity and for quite some time. So what we're trying to do with the Nostalgia Dirt Series, I'm kind of taking a sabbatical from racing. I had a pretty bad accident that almost ended my life in 2020 and kind of taking a sabbatical from racing and helping my dad to build the Nostalgia Dirt Series and hoping to make a return to the seat next year.
So, Christopher, what are you doing for the Nostalgia Dirt series?
I am actually, you can tell I talk a lot. I'm the voice of the Nostalgia Dirt Series, so I'm up in the booth announcing, and then also I'm the veteran coordinator. I've got a partner who's a Gulf War vet that helps me in the booth and then helps me with our veteran outreach. Tim Hartwig, he's a good friend of mine. I met him through the Nostalgia Dirt Series. Has been a great friend and another mentor to mine. As long as I've been alive, I've had several veterans who have been an important part of my life, who have really made me into who I am. My great grandpa, who was raised, was in World War II, and my grandpa Don Thornberry was also in World War II. So, and then one of the veterans that actually built my first car, Rick McWhorter, he raced as well. And I went back when front wheel drives were first coming onto the scene. He built me a Ford Probe that had my number on it, but it was a Dale Earnhardt Wrangler car replica because he was a big Dale Earnhardt car fan. So,
So, Christopher, you said you've been out of racing for a while, driving, but you're the voice of the Nostalgia Dirt Tour. So, how many cars do you have that run the Nostalgia Dirt Tour?
so right now we're not really an established club. Well, we are, but we're not. So we do kind of like an invite event. So, we've got cars that run with us regularly, but our last event at the Mason City Motor Speedway, we had people coming from as far as Ohio to Iowa. We've got people coming from Missouri. Believe it or not, surprisingly enough to me, my wife messaged me and told me that Craig Delansky was in attendance. And if you look on our, visit our, our different socials on social media, TikTok, see what we're doing on Facebook. We're always making some really cool reels. My uncle Ben, there, he's known as a wizard, and him and my dad are always doing some funny things into the shop. We're always up to something, and we're rednecks, and that's what makes us fun. We're trying to bring racing history back, and have a lot of fun doing it. We believe that I love the USMTS where they're actually having a show here in Mason City, but the common misconception is that you really have to be turning, 13-second laps to have good racing. And honestly, at our Mason City event, we had the best feature of the night was with our stock class cars, which is old junkyard motors and old hobby stock chassis. And you could have thrown a blanket over that top four cars, and they were door to door. They weren't running into each other because, believe it or not, finding parts for a 55 Chevy gets pretty hard these days.
Oh, yeah.
But like I said, Craig Delansky actually visited our event and sat in the stands, and I got to share the booth with one of my sprint car racing heroes. I've been a Craig Delansky fan for a long time, and just to have him show up, and he was there to promote one of his events, and to just be able to hang out and have him talk. He's such a down to earth, cool guy, and have him, talk to me like I'm talking to you, and it just makes you realize that they put their boots on and their pants on just like you and me. So,
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you
So,
notice my hat, it's a Hall of Fame Racing Museum, and it's
oh
signed
yeah,
by one of my idols, Marty Pringle. You probably can't see that, but
no,
he was on American Pickers when we were first starting this venture with our first nostalgia car after Ted Zeman, who's a Midwest racing legend. Ted Zeman is known all over for the 24 car. That car was a terror back in the days throughout the Midwest. Terry, Josh is a good friend of mine. He ran with us in the Nostalgia Dirt Series. He had started racing, different areas before that. But Josh, if you look up that 24 car nowadays, the buttless, cushless, Josh Zeman is hands down the best stock car driver in the Midwest, if not the
yeah.
nation right now. You're just not going to find anybody on his level.
So, Chris, how many cars do you normally get for the Nostalgia Dirt Tour?
Well, it just depends on like what we invite, I know our last event we had, and this is we're trying to grow our following, and this is kind of what I was hoping to do, as network with you because I love what you're doing with, you're getting the kids involved and bringing the youth into racing, and that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to show people, what racing used to be, having fun. We still have a competitive spirit, but at the end of the night, kick back with a few beers and have some fun. So we can have some of our more successful events. We've had 100 vintage cars at an event, from the wire wheel sprints, 1920 sprints with aircraft engines in them like they used to run that you have to push start to old sprint cars. Rob Cahill, he drives one of our sprint cars from the old timers, IMCA old timers comes with us. Steve Tanner comes down from Missouri and runs with the super late models that come with us. And we've
Yep.
got a lot of really cool things that we're doing and trying to do with this event and keeping racing history alive and honoring God and our country. So,
Yeah. So, Chris, what kind of big events you got coming up?
actually, we're right in the middle of a couple things right now. So, if you follow our socials, you can kind of see what we've been doing. And the Road to Thunderdome is what we've been pushing right now. So my uncle, his last modified race, he used to race in competition with modifieds, was in 1999. So just for kicks, we decided to pull an old 99 Harris out of the weeds that we've had sitting there. And we figured we'd see how it'd stack up against some of the modern competition. So we put a 377 Sperry engine that has about a million nights on it and this 99 Harris with a Bushore transmission. Ben's going to go race in Algona this Thursday, the 17th, with the Renegade non-wing sprint show and the regular IMCA show, Hot Laps at 6 at the Kossuth County Fairgrounds in Algona. And the Wizard, my uncle, that's his nickname, is going to see how his skills stack up in that Dinosaur Harris against these modern modified A-mod chassis. So, I mean,
Oh,
honestly, like what we're trying to prove with this is like you can still have fun and not kill your pocketbook, and some people would look at that as tomfoolery, but we're out to prove a point. We're out to prove a point that racing can still be affordable and it can still be fun. And it doesn't have to be about the biggest toter and
yeah.
back in the day people used to haul on flatbed snub nose Fords that you could see, and to me that was the coolness.
Oh, yeah.
Be getting to see the cars going down the road, and that was a neat, the neat thing to me when I was a kid, is you know going down the interstate headed to the track and having the cars pass you going to the track and knowing what you were going to get to see. That was always a neat thing to me. And, and we're trying to bring that back. There's not a lot of our guys that haul on enclosed trailers to try and get people to see, hey, look at this cool 57 Chevy going down the road, stock car. Look at this cool Falcon, different things like that. So the Road to Thunderdome, the Wizard will be racing with a Dinosaur 99 Harris with a Sperry engines out of Cedar Rapids, 377 cubic inch Screaming Chevrolet to try and see how his talents stack up in a Dinosaur against these modern shoes in the IMCA modified. So it'll be interesting, but I think it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm really excited about that. So we've been working on it for quite a while, trying to get it ready for this weekend.
So,
So
Christopher, you have anything else big you got going on?
yeah, so our big event, our finale for the year, is actually following that, August 19th, 2023. Pits open at 3 p.m. for our big last show at Algona. Same place that the Road to Thunderdome is. And it's our last show for our Invite Vintage event. It'll be Saturday, the 19th, and hot laps are at 6. So we invite, if you want any more information, go to our Nostalgia Dirt Series page. You can find a link there for ticket ordering information or prices or anything else. And also while you're there, just kind of see what we're up to and what we're about. I mean, that's the best thing I can tell you without going into a lot of depth. We've been having a lot of fun lately, and when we're getting people like, Craig Delansky to take notice, and I don't know if you've ever heard of the Bubba's About Broke podcast. He's been networking with us a lot. He's got a lot of followers. He's had some NASCAR guys on his podcasts and stuff. He's amazing. And, we're starting to get people to take notice in good ways and bad. And, you, as everybody know, with your show, when you get haters, you're doing some things right. So, we just try and stay on the straight and narrow. And when we're making people upset, sometimes that's a good thing, as long as we stay on the straight and narrow and do the right thing. So, like I said, Road to Thunderdome, August 17th, the Wizard will be, running the Dinosaur Harris to see how she can stack up and show that Harris, even though they're old, they're still good chassis. And and August 19th, 3 p.m. pits open for our big last hoorah of the year vintage finale. So really excited to finish out the year strong and start working towards next year with the big plans we've got. So, we're learning with every event. This has been our this year has been our first major events where we've revamped ourselves. My dad owns a series and my uncle is co-owner with him. And like I said, I'm just starting to get into this, helping out with being the voice and the veteran coordinator. And we hope to do way more things than just racing. We're doing a lot of things with veterans and saluting our country, because if it weren't for our veterans and our police and our fire and our EMS and so many people, we wouldn't have the great freedoms that we have, to be able to go racing, to be able to do a lot of things. There's a lot of things we take for granted every day that we don't even think about, that are because of the people that have fought and died for our country. Yeah. So that's first and foremost with our series. So,
and
honoring God as well. So
exactly. So, Chris, that's about all you've got going on then?
Well, we're working on several cars. So I don't know if you know Mark Noble. Do you know Mark Noble? Yeah. So we actually dug one of Mark Noble's cars, dad's cars, out of the weed, Dave Noble, one of his old Camaros. And we're actually going to be starting the process of restoring that to its former glory. One of Dave's old Camaros. Dave was number 75, if my memory serves me correctly. And therefore Mark was number 74. So the technology on that Noble Camaro, like that they ran even back then in the 50s and 60s, them eras, Redneck Engineering comes to mind, and some of them boys back then, they were way ahead of their time. One of the things I cut off there, because I'm a welder and fabricator as well, structurally certified. One of the things I cut off there is they had made a weight jack with an old bottle jack, similar to today's weight jacks that are on the cars. And we cut it off there and soaked it down to preserve it and, paint up and restore it to show people, them people back then, they were no dummies, they were way ahead of their time. And you see that time and time again in these cars that we're rescuing. So we're very excited to be partnering with Mark Noble on that build and to bring racing history alive with that, and really, show people that, my dad says, people die 2 times. You die when your earthly body leaves and goes to heaven. And the second time you die is when nobody speaks your name anymore. And we hope to, by keeping these cars alive and keep people's memories alive, and through these vehicles. And, we just restored a car, Bob Bonzer, a stock car, and just finished that up not too long ago. We just got to get the running gear in it. And there's just several other cars that, we plan to build. Jim Adams ran with us, Adams chassis and stuff like that. Jim raced back in the day, and we actually coincidentally, cars, his old 57 Chevy that he used to tear it up with. And he hadn't raced for years. And we did a Legends race at Mason City. And he got in the car after not racing for years and in a stock class car was racing with our super stock class and actually keeping up with them and beat one of our regular club members in a late model chassis in a stock car. He was in a stock car and the other guy was in a late model chassis in the super stock class with a way bigger engine. So that just goes to show, these guys, back when they did, more with less, they were real drivers back then. So it's
Oh,
really awesome to have people like Jim Adams come on and all these legends working with us because that's what it drives me and my passion to help with the series.
yep. So yeah, Chris, it's pretty interesting to sit and talk to you about all this, about your nostalgia dirt tour and stuff like that. Definitely one of these years I'd like to take that in. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. I mean, even if you could come up in the booth with me and share it with me and Tim, we'd
Yeah.
love to have you up there and kind of get the booth perspective. I say the best perspectives from the behind the wheel, and until I can get back behind the wheel, the booth is going to be about second best. So, I'm
Oh yeah.
really excited for what we're doing. We're really taking leaps and bounds forward with what we're doing, and I really see, you know my dad's vision and we're all working together as a team, the wizard, my uncle Ben, my dad, my wife is sales and marketing, Ray, Chuck with a newsletter. We have a newsletter, so I mean if you can go to our uh, our either our socials or our website, which you can get to through our socials. We have a monthly newsletter that updates, what we're doing for people that, aren't really technologically inclined or don't like technology. Cause I'm not a big technology fan as it is. My wife had to sign me onto this Zoom. So,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
so if you don't like technology and you like the old school stuff, which I'm more partial to, I get the newsletter every month. So,
Okay. Okay.
you can get the newsletter and get signed up for it and see what we're doing. We do a
Yeah.
salute to a veteran every month and we do a driver salute every month and just kind of like I said keeping racing history alive. It's really
Yeah.
awesome.
So, Chris, yeah, thank you very much for being on the show, talking to us about your nostalgia dirt tour. It's pretty awesome to sit and talk to you.
Yeah,
Um, I will definitely tell everybody to go there, check out your nostalgia dirt tour on Facebook and social media, and log on and get a hold of the newsletter. Go check
yeah,
out our nostalgia dirt tour race. Definitely, when the area they get a lot of cars.
yep.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Well, and I really love what you're doing. I told you that, and I want to say it. Why we're on is I love what you're doing. Keeping the kids involved and keeping doing what you're doing with your show. That's amazing, and I feel like that's what God's called you to do. And I really hope that you continue to do that because when we don't have any more kids involved, that's when racing dies.
Oh yeah,
That's with everything. If we
yeah,
don't get the youth involved, then we're losing the battle. So
oh yeah.
I'm really proud of you and what
Yeah,
you're doing, and I'm thankful for what you're doing as well.
yes, yes. But thank you very much, Chris, for being on here with me tonight,
Yeah,
talking to us about
thank you
your
for
racing
having
stuff.
me.
Yes, yes. And everybody go hit up the Nostalgia Dirt Tour on Facebook, all the social media stuff, and definitely go hit up them for their newsletter. That would be awesome. And
Thank
then
you.
also go check out a race, the Nostalgia Dirt Tour race.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. But yes, Chris, I'm going to let you step out. I'll give a little racing news update, and then I will call you a little bit. Thank you.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Christopher Holt, promoter for the Nostalgia Dirt Tour. They are going to be in Algona this weekend. Definitely check that out. Yeah, go check out the Nostalgia Dirt Tour on Facebook and all the social media stuff, and go subscribe to their newsletter. Also, ladies and gentlemen, racing news update again. Kyle Larson won the Knoxville Nationals last weekend, and also Kyle definitely Tanner Holmes is going to be driving the 1A for Jacob Allen the rest of the season. So good luck to Tanner Holmes. A lot of the outlaw drivers are up in Houston tonight racing, so good luck to them. Also, ladies and gentlemen, definitely a lot of stuff going on with NASCAR. Yeah, Michael McDowell picked up the win last weekend, so congratulations to Michael McDowell. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good night, and thank you for watching the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show #1 on YouTube. Be sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification button on the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show #1 on YouTube. Also, if you would like to be on my racing show or um, be a sponsor of my racing show, feel free to email me at jjnolan151@gmail.com, or you can call or text me at 712-209-7138. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, um, you guys have a good night. And I would like to thank Manning Motorsports and New England Human Field Association for being sponsors of this racing show. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good night and catch you later. Another episode of the Josh Nolan Full Throttle Racing Show, #1 on YouTube. Thanks. Bye.